We're making soft and chewy chocolate chip cookies made higher in protein with cottage cheese and protein powder. They're gluten-free and full of flavor with oat and almond flour and less sugar than traditional cookies. Hello, my name is Nicole Bonilla, and if you love healthier recipes to our favorite foods, then you are in the right place. To make these really easy cookies, we're going to start by blending our cottage cheese, and that's going to remove that curdled texture so that it's nice and smooth. You could use any blender or small food processor. I'm going to use the chopper cup that comes with my immersion blender. So I'm just going to add 1/3 cup of cottage cheese and then blend it till smooth. And now I no longer have the curdled texture. And then I'll just add the cottage cheese to my mixing bowl. Now you're welcome to jot down these ingredients as we go along, or you can click on the link that's in the video description below, and that will take you to the full recipe with all the details and substitutions. Next, we're going to add 2/3 cup of cane sugar. You can also use regular granulated sugar. And then we're adding 1/4 cup of coconut oil. You could also use butter. Then we'll add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and then we're going to mix this until it's well blended. And then we're going to add 1 egg white, and then we'll just mix this until it's incorporated. Well, that looks perfect. Now, one of my favorite gluten-free flour combinations for cookies is using some oat flour and almond flour and some tapioca flour. But I've included a table on this recipe on my website that shows several other flours you can use as well as their measurements. So I'm going to add 1 cup of oat flour, 1 cup of almond flour, and 1/4 cup of tapioca flour. And then to add a little more protein as well as some flavor, I'm going to add some vanilla protein powder. And this is one of my favorite protein powders because it's all natural, it's naturally sweetened, it's plant-based, and we really like the flavor of it. And I've included a link in the description below if you'd like to check it out. Next, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon just for a little more flavor, but you could omit it if you prefer, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we'll just mix this together until we have a nice fluffy dough. And then you'll want to add about 1 cup of chocolate chips, and you can use any variety that you like, but I'm only going to add 1/2 of them, and then I'm going to show you how I add the rest in my cookie scoop so they're all on top of the cookie. And then I'll just quickly fold these in on low. Now to form the cookies, I really like using my medium-sized cookie scoop, and then I just lined my cookie sheet with a sheet of parchment paper because that makes it really easy for getting the cookies on and off the pan. And then I put the rest of the chocolate chips into a bowl, and then I'm just going to take a small handful of about maybe 6 or 7 and drop them inside my cookie scoop. And then I'm going to go in and scoop out some dough and then flip it over onto my cookie sheet, and all my chocolate chips are right on top. And then it's really easy to go in and just kind of gently shape the cookie. And you can even add 1 or 2 more if you think it needs it, and I won't judge. And then I'll just continue the same process to fill the cookie sheet. Now, if you could use more healthy inspiration on a regular basis, I invite you to join my email list. All you have to do is click on the link in the video description below, and that is the best way for us to stay connected. Well, these look amazing, and they are ready to go into a 350-degree oven. And you'll want to set it for about 9 to 11 minutes or until the edges are just barely starting to turn a light golden brown. Well, here are our cookies out of the oven, and they look so good. They look nice and kind of pillowy with a little bit of golden brown around the edges. You'll want to put this on your counter and let them cool completely before you enjoy them. But I have some I made earlier that are ready to sample. And they taste delicious. I love how the cottage cheese just makes the texture a little bit softer, but then it's perfectly crisp around the edges. And I love the depth of flavor that comes in from that combination of the oat and the almond flour. And I love that they have just the right amount of sweetness without being overpoweringly sweet. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen, and I've included a link to this full recipe, and it's in the video description below, and that includes all the substitutions and any special notes. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I cannot wait to have you join me again in my kitchen.